Fatalis! I've come to bargain!
No, you've come to die. Though I admit I am curious. What could possibly cause you humans to come to me for aid?
An evil force has come to this world and threatens to destroy it. A force possibly even greater than yours.
Ah, preposterous! No force is greater than mine, and destroying the world is my job.
Believe what you want, but I speak the truth. Join us and we can wipe out this force.
You must be truly desperate to come to me for help, human. My curiosity is piqued. Just what is this creature that you believe is a greater threat than me?
Very well then, let me tell you about... The universe is vast, with countless incredible beings capable of incredible phenomena past the boundaries of our own world. And even then, there are other dimensions, other realities, where seemingly impossible things are completely normal. And despite the fact that our fabric of reality keeps our world separate from other dimensions before it, there are many ways the fabric of reality can become unstable, usually due to large fluctuations of energy or certain creatures possessing otherworldly abilities that may allow them to breach the borders of other dimensions. And when these things happen, we may encounter creatures beyond anything we've seen before, even beyond our comprehension, such as the monstrous beast known as the Behemoth. Now, we'll get to the Behemoth in due time, but first we must speak of the events leading up to the Behemoth's appearance. A short time after the defeat of Xeno'jiiva, who you may remember is a massive infant elder dragon almost entirely composed of massive amounts of bioenergy, my good friend Aiden and his handler reported changes in the environment as well as sightings of strange creatures unlike anything we'd ever seen in our world before, such as the Cactuar, living humanoid cactus creatures that seem to be forever stuck in the crosswalk go pose. They're mostly docile, but will attack if they are disturbed, something some hunters actually take advantage of by luring a monster to a Cactuar and kicking the creature, causing it to shoot thousands of cactus needles to harm anything in range. Another otherworldly creature that was discovered was a Moogle, an adorable feline-like creature with a pom-pom on top of its head, and it was guarding a large crystal composed of aether, an energy very similar to bioenergy, being a source of life and even magic. Yes, magic exists in the world they come from. But unfortunately, such a tiny creature doesn't stand much of a chance against a monster 10 times its size, like the Kulu Yaku that saw the big, shiny crystal, wanted it, and snatched it for itself. Which was very bad, as magic is unpredictable and affects everything differently, in this case, gradually making the bird wyvern larger until it was eventually the size of a Devil Joe, and nearly as powerful as one to boot. Now, I was still recovering after almost dying to Xeno'jiiva, but thankfully my niece Teko stepped in and made that giant chicken into a rotisserie. However, that was only the beginning of our problem, as the Aether Crystal and its incredible power was creating a rift between our world and the world of Eorzea, where they come from. And more creatures were slowly being drawn to our realm. But the worst one was a creature that was first drawn into our world along with the Moogle itself. One of the most dangerous and feared creatures in all of Eorzea, the Behemoth. Now, in terms of visuals, the Behemoth is pretty straightforward. It's just a massive, absurdly muscular, purple, vaguely canine-like creature that is mostly hairless, with the exception of a black mane running from its head down its back to the end of its thick tail, the hair extending from the tail in nasty, barb-like hairs. Although it's apparent they skip leg day, as their lower body is far less muscular than their upper body. But that isn't much of a concern, as on the end of all of their paws are razor-sharp claws that could inflict deep wounds with ease. As for their behavior, it's difficult to say, as currently there is between 16 and 20 different worlds we know of that contain behemoths, and they vary greatly from world to world. Sometimes they're simply wild animals roaming the wilderness, while in other worlds they're bipedal and capable of using weapons used as guards by tyrannical villains, and even a few worlds where they are biomechanical monstrosities used by the military. But the one constant between worlds, and the reason more isn't known about them, is that they're insanely aggressive and will attack any living thing they see on sight. So not a lot of people want to go out into the wilderness to study them like researchers of the Commission. And our world is not safe from their aggression either, as Behemoth's very arrival to the Elder's Recess resulted in destruction of the immediate area, and his first action upon his arrival was to kill and eat a dodo gamma.
I have a question. Oh God. Why?
So obviously, with this monster having committed the greatest atrocity possible, we had to bring an unholy wrath down upon this monstrosity. However, that proved to be difficult, as its giant gains are so rock hard, even the strongest weapons bouncing off. And the horns are also incredibly difficult to damage, making attacking its face a chore. And those same muscles obviously mean it hits like a freight train, even the strongest armor struggling to withstand its attacks. Those attacks coming in the form of paw swipes, dragging shoulder charges, leaping pounce attacks, swiping his tail at someone behind him, or a 360 tailspin if he's surrounded, or crashing his massive body down on you, sending you skidding across the ground, wide open to a follow-up attack if it hits, and shaking the ground to throw you off balance if you're too close. And if it catches you with a headbutt, it will pin you and grind you into the ground, causing significant bleeding. Also, don't make the mistake of believing that because it's a big, hulking, muscular beast that it's stupid, because that is not the case. Behemoth is actually quite intelligent and is aware of who the biggest threat is when it's facing multiple targets, and whoever is currently doing the most damage will gain the beast's enmity, and it will single them out and focus its attacks on them, bringing its full fury down on whoever dared bring it harm. But physical attacks are the least of your worries. As you may remember, Behemoth comes from a world capable of using magic, and Behemoth is capable as well, able to call down meteors from the sky like Crimson Fatalis, even multiple meteors to attack multiple targets, the fiery impact burning whoever was hit. It can call down bolts of lightning from the sky like Kieran, multiple bolts striking a large area of the battlefield all at once. In addition, it can also channel destructive magic into the ground to create huge explosions, either in a wide area directly in front of it, or great distances in a straight line. But the most irritating of all is Charybdis, where it will create whirlwinds to follow someone before creating a mighty tornado like Kushala Daora on their position that lasts for several minutes, and he can conjure 3 or 4 of them at a time, turning the area into a minefield. And if left alone long enough, it will start healing with magic. But all of this completely pales in comparison to his ultimate move, the Ecliptic Meteor, where he will summon an enormous meteor supercharged with destructive energy that will wipe out everything in the entire biome. Similar to Safi Jiva's Sapphire of the Emperor. Impossible to dodge or block, nor can you simply run out of the area to avoid it. Unless you can run all the way back to base camp and hide in the tent or the canteen in the 9 seconds it takes for the meteor to drop, which is unlikely. There are only 2 viable options for surviving this attack. The first being to hide behind one of several large comets Behemoth will summon down to try and crush you, which will remain on the battlefield as a small obstacle. However, these comets can be destroyed by Behemoth's attacks, so you have to be sure to avoid them until you need them for cover. And the second option is to use a technique taught to us by the Mughals, used by the Dragoons of Eorzea, the jump technique, leaping up to the very clouds with a magic energy spear and avoiding the devastation on the ground, before crashing back down on your opponent with said spear. However, this is a last resort if there are no comets to hide behind, as precision is everything with this technique, and even a single second too late or too soon will have you either not making it out of the blast or diving straight into it. So, how do you send this creature to the deepest pits of hell where it belongs? Simple. You call Sephiroth and have him deal with it. Sigh. Well, it's certainly been a while. Hey there, Sephi! How's my favorite brother-in-law doing today? You know, I shouldn't even say brother-in-law. I like you more than my actual brothers. So, what is it you need now? I was just hoping you could come help out with a behemoth. You know, should be no trouble for someone as powerful and skilled as you. No, I have more important things to do. What? What do you mean, no? What else is more important that you could possibly have to do? Your sister. Fine, I'll do it myself. Thankfully, I know 2 lovely otherworldly ladies who shared their intimate knowledge with me. Knowledge of Behemoth. So, as has been said multiple times, Behemoth comes from a world of magic and has been hit with all forms of elemental magic and has built a resistance to it. Fire and thunder having little effect on him, and while ice and water are decent, he can still resist them. But the dragon element is something unique to this world. Behemoth has never encountered before and has built up no resistance to it. So that's your best bet. In addition, all ailments are decently effective across the board. But while preparation is important, strategy is everything when it comes to fighting this otherworldly abomination. And trust me, I know this sounds unprofessional and I hate myself for saying this, but you need to treat it like a raid boss in an RPG.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
So, what do I mean by that? Well, first, you should hunt the monster in a full team of 4. It can be defeated by singular hunters, but only by the most elite of the elite, and even then, it's quite a tall order. One team member should make themselves a tank and take the role of the instigator, doing the most damage and gaining Behemoth's enmity to get him to focus on them. A second party member should be designated as the healer, hanging back and restoring their allies with life powder and dust of life. Meanwhile, the other 2 should focus on breaking Behemoth's parts, such as his front legs, his horns, or severing his tail. Also, when you are targeted by Charybdis, you should run to the edge of the arena so the tornado touches down out of the way of the main fight. And when he drops a comet on you, you should run to whatever side the tornadoes are not on, keeping them safe and out of the way until the ecliptic meteor. And after everything you put him through, Behemoth is too proud to die by the hands of a mere human. He will summon a final ecliptic meteor, dropping it directly down upon himself, still hoping to take the hunters out, of course, but more importantly, robbing them of the honor of bringing him down. And the Behemoth armor and weapons are modeled after the armor of the Dragoons and the spear they wield. Very stylish and very intimidating. Although I do have to point out the obvious problem with the female armor, the fact that the entire stomach is open and vulnerable. For those that don't know, this is the body cavity and it's where a good chunk of your vital organs are. So hopefully you can understand why that's a part of the body you really want to protect and shouldn't have a giant opening in your armor to expose. Yes, the Behemoth is certainly a challenge, but since the Moogle and its crystal is gone, the portal to Eorzea has closed and it's almost impossible for a Behemoth to get back through. So I don't think we'll be seeing one of them again anytime soon. Actually, Sai, we just got reports of another Behemoth, this one even stronger than the last one. It's totally bohegus. So yes, there's another version of Behemoth known as the Extreme Behemoth. Although there's no real way to tell the difference until you're already fighting it. For the most part, it's exactly the same, but its magic is amped up to 11. It can cast magic far more often than the normal one, and the spells are cast twice as fast as the original. In addition, the meteors are slightly larger and will now corrode the armor of the target if they are hit, weakening their defense. And when chased to a dead end for the final area of the battle, Extreme Behemoth will survive casting the Ecliptic Meteor, so he'll keep fighting for a while and then cast another one. So you'll have to endure 2 Ecliptic Meteors. So you better make sure you can get him to drop plenty of comets. There is no special strategy for this guy. Just do what you did for the first one, but kick it up to the extreme. But I've run out of patience for this thing, so I'm just gonna end it right now. Zeta Flare! You could have done that this whole time? Oh dear Elatrion, somebody get a medic!
Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
So there you have it, everyone. That is the Behemoth. It's an interesting creature, far different than anything we've faced before, because it is quite literally something from another world. But that is why it must be destroyed. It is not from our world and does not belong here, as it is a danger to everything we know and love, especially our precious Dodo Gamma. So, there you have it, everyone. That is my lore on Behemoth. It might have been a little lacking in some information like ecology and stuff, but again, Behemoth isn't even the most flushed out creature in its own world. You know, not a lot of information. Like I said, people aren't really going out to research these things since they're freaking monstrosities. And even other YouTube videos I checked up really only explained the way they fight, not much about, like, their ecology or anything. So, that might have been a little lacking, but hopefully everything else was entertaining enough. Behemoth is really interesting, like I said, but honestly, I really do hate fighting it. Recently found out tremor resistance is a massive help, but even so, Charybdis is just so irritating. I absolutely hate it. Like I said, yes, there is a strategy to mitigate it, but it's still really irritating. And again, that's probably because I was trying this solo. It is much more manageable in a group, but still, it is insane. A bit more than I personally like, but it was still interesting and so satisfying to kill the first time I ever did it in a group, and even more so when I managed to do it on my own. Next time is Lunagaron, and that's gonna be really fun. It's probably my second favorite fanged wyvern right behind Magnamalo. It's just so cool. It's such a sleek design. I love its deep cobalt color mixed with the lighter blue ice. The armor armor is amazing, weapons are super cool, and I love how it's got the werewolf aesthetic going down, you know, starting out on all fours, going up to its hind legs. Its pin attack is really cool. It's so gruesome, but it's awesome and I love it. And its ice powers are really cool. And how mobile it is, like it does a freaking backflip and shoots down ice balls as it does, the iced mist, making claws of ice. I just love everything about it, and I can't wait to talk about it, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to hearing about it. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this, want to see more, go ahead and slash that subscribe button. If you like this video, give a quick cut to the like button. Leave a comment down below. Share it around with all your friends. Be sure to click the notification bell so you never miss it when I upload a video, and be sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Then I'll see you in the next video. But until then, ladies and swordsmen, stay sharp.